today is Monday, March 16th, 2026. This is the Board of Library Trustees for the Arlington Heights Memorial Library. This is our regular board meeting for March. So I would like to start the meeting with a call to order. May I have the roll call, please?
Trustee Burrell?
Here.
Trustee Gala?
Here.
Trustee Kelly?
Here.
Trustee McLean?
Here.
Trustee Meadow is currently not here. Trustee Watts?
Here.
President Samari?
Here. And next, we go on to the Pledge of Allegiance. Some of you in this room might do this at school. So if we can all stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment tonight? No. So my name is Amy Samari. I'm the president of the Board of Library Trustees. Hopefully you voted for me. These are our fellow trustees that you voted for. And then we have people that are the professional staff of the library. These are the librarians and the people that make everything happen at the library. They plan the programming, they purchase the materials, they do all the special events. So we all work for taxpayers. And so we have meetings twice a month where we go through our business, we approve budgets, we approve payroll, we plan for new projects, and if we're lucky, we get to work with some local people, some wonderful artists. And so today we are going to award some students who put together beautiful bookmarks. They created bookmarks as part of a contest that we did. So we normally are, in case you don't know, all of our board materials are online. Anyone can look them up. And then we also bring them to the meeting. So to start off, I would like to have a motion that we move up agenda item Love Your Library bookmark from new business to our first item of business.
So moved. Second.
So moved, and seconded and so moved. So that means we're going to move this up so that we can welcome all of you. So normally we don't have a full room, which is too bad because we invite people twice a month to come to our meetings. And we're very happy when people do come and give us their opinions, give us feedback, give us ideas. So today we have some students who created these bookmarks. So this was the second time we did this. We hosted a Love Your Library bookmark contest. This was for students in kindergarten through 8th grade, or 12th grade, sorry, who live in Arlington Heights or go to this one of the schools served by our library, because we do have some private and Catholic schools in town. So some of the students did these digitally. They designed the bookmark in honor of our 100th anniversary. So the library in Arlington Heights is 100 years old this year. We're going to be celebrating a lot in the month of April. So we received 370 submissions and we chose 5 winners. So congratulations to all the students. We're really proud of your work, and I hope that you're using our maker place, which has incredible design tools and things that you can use to be really creative. So with that, I would like to introduce the winners one by one, and I apologize, I might ask if I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. So the first winner we have, I recognize from last year, Riley Anderson is a student at Westgate. She's in 1st grade, and this is her bookmark. It says, "We're having a book party." So there will be a display downstairs with all these bookmarks, and people can take a bookmark for themselves at home. So please, throughout the month, feel free to come in, tell your friends, tell your classmates. But first, I would like to call Riley up. I love your bookmark. Congratulations. Should we take a picture now? Okay. And I know Riley's grandparents. Grandpa was on the Park District Board for many years. All right, thank you. Congratulations, Riley. Sit down now, and then we'll do one picture with all the winners, okay? All right, great. So next we have Paul, who's a second grader at Poe. Is that you? I just want to make sure I do it right. Dimitriv. Pretty good, okay. Good job. Paul's bookmark has a globe in it. It says 100th birthday. It has like, is that a fox reading? What is it?
This
Yeah, who's reading?
dog.
A dog is reading. I love that. So Paul, I'm glad you entered this year. You're a very good artist. We were lucky enough to have two students who entered again this year and won, so that's terrific. Okay, next up is a 5th grader at Dryden Elementary School. His name is Adam. Binowski, Adam Binowski. Adam, this is so colorful. I love it. Did you create these? Is this like a, you know?
It's a hamster.
Oh,
It's supposed to be.
yeah, no, it's a very cool hamster. And look at, he wrote 100 and he has these hamsters, super colorful. I have to say, I was really impressed that we have students from all different schools. So that's terrific. Congratulations, Adam. Okay, next we have someone that also won last year. She's a 7th grader this year at Thomas Middle School. And her name is Selah. Selah. Selah Kintoff. Hi, Selah. This is she made the books into a birthday cake. And they're all different colors. That's really clever. Selah, you want to be a graphic designer. That's Sasha. He wants to department that designer. So someday maybe you could work for him. All right, and finally, our final winner tonight is a 7th grader at Cooper Middle School. And that is Lainey, is it Meister?
Meister.
All right, Lainey. Oh my goodness, Lainey, this is really beautiful. So you can see she has the 100 up here, but it's so colorful. Congratulations, you're a beautiful artist. We are really grateful for all of you for entering and for continuing to come to the library, use the library, and getting involved in the library. Would you like a picture with everyone?
Yes, I'm thinking maybe over here we have more space if we can get
Okay.
the trustees.
Yep.
If the trustees are sitting right here, I would say Stacy, Carol, and Jen, you guys can stay put. But if we can get Amy, if you want to
Okay.
come here this side, and then all the winners, please, as well.
So do you want
Yeah, let's try and go here, and then start putting behind. I'm gonna take it from this here, so.
This, oh, I was wiping this pen off because it wouldn't.
Yeah. No.
Right.
Thank you.
sweatshirt? That's awesome. Perfect. So
We can
why
get the
don't
kids right over here behind, the kind
yeah,
of
Riley,
area
come up
please here.
here.
We're very
Fine.
nice.
Paul, why don't you come up here?
Oh, no one else has them?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, bring your bookmarks, if you have your bookmarks,
Bring
Yeah.
the bookmark. How about that?
the certificate would be great too, that certificate would be awesome. We want everything in the picture.
You must, your art teachers must love you. You guys are really talented.
Congratulations.
Riley, move over. You get Riley. Riley, why don't you come right here and sit up? Because you're.
Oh, yeah.
You're more like.
Get up in front so.
Yeah. All right, can we see faces?
All right. 1, 2,
First look at Sasha.
right over here. Awesome, thank you all
All
very
right,
much.
look at the
Oh, yeah,
mouse.
if there's any parents.
You good? All right, thank you. So, you are more than welcome to stay for our entire business meeting. Also, we won't be insulted if you walk out the door while we talk about the budget and the bills. All right.
I know.
Yeah. Riley.
Absolutely.
She talks.
No, I gotta go. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, it's fine.
Thank you. You're thinking.
Congratulations.
So.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We did, and they, yeah. Yeah, so the people were supposed to. They are.
All right.
Yes, yeah, thank you.
Okay, moving on to the business portion of our meeting. Do you have a liaison report from the Friends of the Library?
I do not.
Okay, how about Foundation?
No, foundation, Lori said she was gonna be here, but apparently she wasn't able to make it, but
Okay.
I did not have a report from either.
Okay. Trustee Watts, I know that you attend the Friends meetings. Do you have any top line?
Well, they're right now going through they're reelecting the board. So there's the nominations that have gone out are going out to everyone. So if you are a friend of the library, make sure you vote for the folks who are going to be leading that organization. So that's the big thing that's happening this month. And obviously they're getting ready for the book sale that happens in May. So there's new book sale committee leads. So sort of transitioning those things. And then for the foundation, they have hosted their International Women's Day event. So that was a huge success. But I don't have the final numbers on how much that brought in, but very excited and just got great feedback from folks who attended. So
Yeah, I love that it was back in the library again. That was really nice addition. I know it was great for people to be in the building and, use the Hendrickson room. So
definitely love the theme too, like of writing and getting your story out there. That's what the library is all about. So really cool.
good, thank you. All right, approval of the minutes of the joint meeting that we had with the Board of Trustees for Arlington Heights Village. May I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the joint board meeting of the Arlington Heights Board of Trustees and the Board of Library Trustees.
May I have a second?
A second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting from February 17th, 2017.
Approval of the board minutes of the board meeting for Tuesday, February 17th, 2026.
All right, and a second?
Seconded.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, looking at the financial report for the period ending February 28th.
Okay. There was no 2026 real estate tax revenue recognized in the month of February. As a reminder, the first installment 2026 bills, which are typically sent in early February with a March 1 due date, will be sent in March and due April 1. Property tax payments received during the first 60 days of the new year are applied to the previous budget year. So the 2025 property tax revenue, including January and February receipts, is $14,372,267, which is 95% of the budgeted levy amount. So this equates to about a $750,000 shortfall as compared to budget. And our favorability in our expenditures will not fully offset that amount. We collected non-resident card fees in the amount of $235 this month. Our copier and printer revenue totaled $4,502.13. Our meeting room fees were $150. Lost item charges totaled $823.64. February interest income was $9,509.36. Donations totaled $50,286.40, which includes $50,000 recognized from deferred trust donations in conjunction with the expenditures made this month on the bookmobile project. This way, the net income statement impact will be zero for the part of the project funded by donations. Friends of the Library will also reimburse us for in a future month for another $50,000, which is half the last payment on the new bookmobile. In the meantime, for February, they reimbursed us $1,245.05, which was primarily for community giveaway books and interior landscaping. The foundation reimbursed us $127.09. Revenue collected for vehicle stickers totaled $215. Other revenue was $787. Maker Place miscellaneous revenue was $516.12, and the total revenue collected in February was $68,446.79. For expenses, 17% of the fiscal year has lapsed, and we have expensed 19% of our total operating budget. As a reminder, in the early part of the year, contractual services expenses for annual renewals are typically higher than the rest of the year, yielding expense percentages greater than the lapsed annual percentage. For example, on page 1 of your financial report, towards the bottom of the page, you can see account 612040, which is our general insurance cost. We paid $184,000, which appears to be very over budget, since the budget is spread out evenly over 12 months, but this is a once-a-year premium renewal payment that happens in January and applies for the whole year, so that will even out throughout the year. Commodity expenses also trend higher at the beginning of the year as we paid for many annual electronic resources, and 25% of the total annual capital budget has been expensed as of February. And then, as mentioned, the bookmobile payment this month includes $50,000 funded by existing trust donations, plus $50,000 that's committed by the Friends of the Library and will be reimbursed to us in a future month. Worth noting, but not shown on the dashboard because it relates to 2025, is the final payment on last year's interior renovation project. You can actually see on page 22 of the expenditure report that there's a negative $213,882.15. This appears negative on the report because we cut the check in 2026, but it relates to the 2025 budget year. So we reclassed it out of 2026 and back into 2025 as part of the annual audit process. So this brought the final cost of the project to $1,019,828, which was about $120,000 under budget. For the network upgrade project, there was a question about how E-rate is applied to our books. So the E-rate discount will come out as basically in the form of a reduced bill. So when they invoice us, that E-rate discount is already applied, so it doesn't actually hit our books. It just it's a discount on the total amount. So that was everything I have for the financial report. Anybody else have any questions?
So just so I understand it correctly, when we see the invoice for the network upgrade, we'll still see it on this capital projects part of the dashboard and likely significantly less than we had budgeted.
Sure.
The $50,000 from the Friends, will that also be visible on this capital side of the dashboard, or does that run?
I don't think so.
The operating side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That runs through that 604, the donation
Yeah,
account.
yeah, I just didn't know if like we would see it on this side too. Okay. All right, does anyone else have any questions? No, okay, then moving on to reviewing the check register for the period ending February 28th.
Okay, I had a few questions on checks here I'll go through. On page 2 and also on page 11, check 105634 to Diligent Corporation for the amount of $8,000. This is an annual subscription for the board material software that we're going to be moving to. So we are converting to that now. The portion related to 2027 is on page 2 as a prepaid. So because it overlaps into next year, that is considered a prepaid. New this year, the software will allow for easier compilation and posting of the board meeting materials and recordings for the public. Then on page 5, check 105611 to Sohab or Barkat on the amount of $2,050. That was for cake pops for the library's upcoming centennial celebration on April 19th. Page 6, check 105606 to HML. This was a American Express charge to Toast Beverages in the amount of $616. That is for non-alcoholic sparkling beverages, which will be gifts for the volunteers at the upcoming volunteer appreciation event on April 7th. On page 10, check 105656 to also to AHML, that's another American Express charge that went to Network Solutions in the amount of $47.99. That is for a domain renewal for ahml.net. We use this .net domain for a variety of accounts we hold for Apple products and Google Workspace. Many of these services require that you host a domain name server with them directly or have one different from your Active Directory domain. On page 11, check 105606, also to HML, that's another American Express charge. That was to M&J Technologies in the amount of $6,391.45. This was the wireless access point project. So this was originally planned for 2025 at a cost of $18,000. We switched manufacturers of the wireless access points that we had originally planned to purchase, and we waited until 2026 to purchase because we were waiting for our E-rate stuff to go through, which gives us a significant discount. So with the change to the equipment, that brought the cost down to around $6,400, but we will actually be receiving a further discount, and the total cost for this project will be around $3,600 as opposed to $18,000 that we had budgeted. The amount that was charged to the credit card was actually charged in error by our vendor, and that we'll see a credit for that next month, and then they'll be sending an invoice with that updated amount that includes the E-rate discount. So we'll be seeing that one pop up again probably next month. Then on page 11, check 105695 to Quill in the amount of $972.34. That is the question was on the maintenance costs on printers covered by print fees charged to patrons. So we do need to do an analysis to get an exact number, but currently to print or copy, we charge 5 cents for black and white and 40 cents for color, with an upcharge for larger ledger size pages. In 2025, we recorded over $50,000 in copier fee revenue, while our copier maintenance expense budget was $38,000. So there is some margin there, but we're also probably the cheapest game in town when it comes to copying and printing by a long shot. Then on page 12, check 105715 to Today's Business Solutions in the amount of $370.24. That is our quarterly fax program cost. So we do have a fax machine downstairs that is available for the public. They are used heavily by our customers. So we estimated an average of 2,500 faxes sent each quarter. So it's quite a few. Those are all the questions I had for the check register. Anybody else have any questions?
Then I move approval of the account payable check register for the Arlington Heights Memorial Library for February 28th, 2026 in the amount of $1,308,601.55.
Second. All right, so the motion was made by trustee Gala and seconded by trustee McLeany. May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Burrell?
Yes.
Trustee Gallo?
Yes.
Trustee Kelly?
Aye.
Trustee McLeany?
Yes.
Trustee Meadow?
Yes.
Trustee Watts?
Yes.
President Smith?
Aye. All right. The executive director's report.
Okay, I'll highlight a few things from the director's report, starting on the first page. The library partnering with local schools for youth author visit. So on February 19th and 20th, author Stacy McNulty visited 3 elementary schools: District 59, Juliet Low Elementary; District 21, Riley and Poe Elementary, Riley and Poe, to speak with students about their writing processes, inspiration, and life as an author, and presented a library program. In total, the author presented to 845 students and program attendees. And then also on the first page, I did receive the Heart Gold Award last month. So thank you to Carol for coming to the event. Appreciate that. And then on the next page, toward the bottom, we also received the Community Service Organization of the Year Award at the Scouting America Pathway to Adventure Council's Five Creeks District Community Service and Leadership Recognition Dinner last month. The library offers Arlington Heights-based scout groups the opportunity to visit the library and Makerplace to complete activities to earn their badges. And then also want to mention that our Makerspace specialist, Lisa, was accepted to compete in C2E2's Crown Championships of Cosplay. Her entry is an 18th century French court character from the 1981 Mel Brooks film History of the World Part 1. Much of the costume's intricate embroidery is being created using the Makerplace's embroidery machine and Adobe Illustrator. Lisa is designing, digitizing, and stitching each piece herself. So congratulations to Lisa on that. On page 3 at the bottom there, I wanted to let you guys know that we, after a few years of effort, we have filed and successfully trademarked the name Maker Place for the library. So that was something that when we initially announced that name, this was something that we thought would be cool to trademark it, and we were finally able to do it. There was it's quite a process to go through a trademarking. So
I love it. It looks great.
with a little
Yes,
registration.
Very official.
Love it.
On page 4, just want to mention the nonprofit exchange. Our Info Services Advisor Diane kicked off a new year of the nonprofit exchange with 32 attendees, the largest attendance yet. This program is dedicated to supporting nonprofit professionals with the opportunity for peer-to-peer networking and training on topics relevant to navigating the public sector. And then on page 5, in response to customer requests, the Peacock streaming service is now available through the library's Library Things collection. Rather than bundling Peacock with the library's existing Roku devices, digital services and collection services collaborated to create a dedicated standalone Peacock Roku stick to better meet demand. 3 devices now have been added to the collection and are available for checkout. Then on the next page, on page 6, the Teen Job Fair. To prepare youth for the Teen Job Fair and Summer Job Search, Info Services Librarian Lynn Ann and Teen Librarian Alejandra presented Get a Job workshop to 24 teens, covering topics like resume writing and interviewing. Attendees had a chance to get feedback during mock interviews with library supervisors. And then at the 14th annual Teen Job Fair, over 300 teens connected with representatives from 15 businesses and organizations at the Arlington Ridge Center. This collaboration with Arlington Heights Youth Commission and the Arlington Heights Park District gives busy teens an opportunity to meet businesses, gather applications, and ask questions as they search for the perfect job for the summer. And then also on page 6 at the bottom, 2026 marks 100 years of National Black History Month observances and focuses on the impact of these celebrations on Black life and culture. Below is a sampling of the library's offerings from last month. And those are, the first one is inspired by art. Digital Services and Makerspace Advisor Beth led 2 sessions of Inspired by Art, celebrating the work of Althea McNish, a Trinidadian designer whose bold tropical textile patterns help inject color and life into the post-World War II fashion industry. Then we also had a display for Black History Month. The Kids World display featured a fun and educational activity, Black History Month Changemakers Matching Game. This activity was an opportunity for kids and caregivers to learn together and have conversations about the contributions of each individual. By the end of the month, 196 children had completed the activity. And then art historian Jeff Mashur returned to present a virtual program where he walked 28 art enthusiasts through key works by Black artists and their symbolism throughout the year. Okay, then on page 7, vision boarding. This is the emerging adults. We continue, this obviously was one of our big strategic goals. These are just more examples of that. So the 20s and 30s crowd enjoyed an evening of vision boarding in the Hendrickson Room. Nearly 30 emerging adults came out to manifest the future using a variety of fun supplies donated by the library staff. Attendees had their pick of magazines, scrapbook paper, stickers, and all kinds of other materials to create a vision board that will help them fulfill their goals for the next year or even 5. And then 15 customers made messy art masterpieces at the first 20s and 30s event hosted at the Maker Place. Many had never visited the space before and left excited to return and explore all that it has to offer. That's everything I had from the director's report. I did have a question about the statistics. On page 2 of the stats dashboard, the adult attendance in programs is down 12.3%. We did have 4 fewer programs between January and February, which could contribute to that. We also had much more snow in January, which we had over double or right about double the snow this year as opposed to January of last year. So I think between those 2 things, that really probably accounts for the majority of that. I know we have also had a decline in attendance at our ESL programs with ICE presence in the area. And so that may also be a contributing factor. Any questions about the director's report or anything else? Anybody want to
We
highlight?
don't slow down during the winter, that's for sure. I have to say, a couple things kind of stood out to me. So much creativity at the Maker Place between vision boards and Pop-Tart classes. I know that Lisa has helped me with a project. She's amazing at the Maker Place and such an asset as an artist. And then also just, you know, continuing to connect people, whether it's people that are new to the area. For me, I really follow the page turners discussion group and knowing what books they picked, you know, before I paid attention to it or was aware of it. And just, you know, between the blood donation draw, helping the Good Neighbors Network get their information out. There's just so many partnerships. And then also, I just found it sort of interesting that the library was founded 100 years ago, which is the same year that Black History Month started to be celebrated. And, you know, maybe 6 months after the Park District was founded. So a lot was happening 100 years ago. And look at where we are today. So very good. Thank you. All right. Moving on to new business. We already did the Love Your Library Bookmark Contest winners. So I would like to shall we do
We could do, yeah.
internet first or collection
We can do the
first?
collection
Okay,
first.
let's do the collection services staff presentation.
No. Question.
The new logo.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. I think it was that. It was perfect. Thank you. Is it helpful for you? What was it not?
This one. Please hold on, we're gonna be.
Well, not yet. There's that hair in it. It's always like staggers, like, and then I think that, and I gotta make sure Carol,
Yeah.
it's like, no. No, some bad TV, didn't you see it? To move for getting ready on that thing.
And then, you know,
There we go.
still.
It's the lights, Kate, they're about right there.
No, we just attack.
It's so much, not like. Look at this.
And then.
It is burning, the light is still making. It's so sensitive, so then I like that it was that kind of.
Okay, well, thank you for having us here tonight. My name is Lisa Bobs. I'm the collection services manager, and this is Claire Creeper. She's our collection supervisor. And we were asked to come here to talk about our selection process. And we're also going to discuss our deselection or our meeting process, and also how we handle customer questions. So let's start talking about the selection process for how we decide what gets added to the collection. So as a reminder, especially for the newer board members, staff from the department came to the September 2025 board meeting, and they talked about what the department as a whole does, each of the 4 divisions, what their roles are in getting the materials out to the public. And that is at about the 52-minute mark of the board meeting recording, if you want to go back and watch that. But for tonight, we're just going to talk about the selection division part of the department. So there are 5 staff in the division. There are 3 selectors, and they're all full-time. There are also 2 interlibrary loan staff, and they handle the interlibrary loan requests that are outside of Lincoln, so the ones that are throughout the country through OCLC. ILL staff also have some collection duties, so they will help pull items from reports, and they will help fill displays. Oh, did I go too far? No, there's you. It's me. Okay, So hi, I'm Claire. I'm one of our selectors in addition to being the collection supervisor. I select adult nonfiction that includes all formats, so regular type, large type, ebooks, e-audiobooks, as well as audiobooks on CD. I did, oh, she skipped.
I'm using an iPad, which I never use for a presentation in PowerPoint, so I'm sorry, I didn't scroll up for my notes, so we're just gonna back up before we go to
So
Claire.
never mind.
Yeah.
We'll
Picture for a while. So each selector is assigned areas in the collection, and we'll talk more about that in a second, which is what Claire's gonna talk about. The list of those areas are on our department SharePoint page, so staff throughout the library can look at that and see if they wanna talk to somebody about a particular issue with the collection, they know exactly who to go to. Selectors are also responsible for displays, and currently we handle about 8 displays throughout the library. And now Claire is gonna talk about the selection.
Okay, so yeah, I'm Claire, as I said, and again, I select adult nonfiction, which includes large print, ebooks, e-audiobooks, as well as audiobooks on CD. Also, I do adult graphic novels, both fiction and nonfiction, and I select for the world languages and ESL collections as well. Our next collection librarian selector is Natalie. She is responsible for adult fiction, again, in all formats. So that includes regular type, large type, ebooks, e-audiobooks, and audiobooks on CD. She's also our AV expert, so she selects movies for adults and kids, video games for adults and kids, as well as music CDs. And then finally, we have Candy. She is our Kids World selector. She does children's fiction and nonfiction, teen fiction and teen nonfiction, as well as e-content for children and teens. And she also selects for our Library of Things and our Games and Toys collections.
So I'm sure you're all familiar with, being the board, with our material selection policy, which guides what we decide to add to the collection. Some highlights from that policy are that the library's collection is developed and managed to meet the cultural, informational, educational, and recreational needs of the community. And that selectors consider factors such as customer interest, cost, and space. They also consider anticipated or existing demand, local interest, the reputation and skill of the author, performer, or the artist, existing library resources in the subject area and published reviews, availability of titles from other sources, and the physical durability of the items. But keeping our material selection policy in mind, what do we buy? So we actually have collection profiles for each collection in the library. And as you can see, this shows, an example here is our biography and memoir collection. And it contains a description of what the collection is, if we buy duplicates for this collection, what the retention and the weeding is for this collection, what do we buy, what do we not buy, and any ordering tips, like what vendor to use, etc. For this particular collection, it describes what a biography is and what a memoir is, and also what they're not, because it's frequently, is this a biography or is it a nonfiction? Is it gonna go to the Deweys? We're not always sure, but this will say, yes, this is what a biography is, and this is what a memoir is. And so now Claire is gonna talk about how we buy.
Okay, so, gosh, how do we decide what to buy for the library? It's, as you can see, it's a combination of many things. When we select, we're looking at professional review sources, data analysis, and feedback from our community. Our goal is to make thoughtful purchasing decisions that reflect both professional standards and what our customers are actually interested in checking out. So one of the tools that we use is customized carts from Ingram, which is our primary vendor. These carts highlight newly released titles that are likely to be strong additions to our collection. We also rely on professional selection journals, as like the ones listed here, Booklist, Publishers Weekly, Library Journal, School Library Journal, and Kirkus. They provide expert reviews of new and upcoming books and media. They help us evaluate quality, relevance, and anticipated demand. In addition to reviews, we also use Collection HQ, which is a collection management tool that we as a library subscribe to. This tool analyzes circulation data and helps us identify trends in our collection, such as areas where materials are heavily used, topics that may need refreshing, or even gaps in our collection that we need to fill. A very important factor is direct input from our customers. We regularly receive purchase suggestions, and those requests do play a very meaningful role in shaping our collections.
We also pay attention to publishing news and reader trends on social media platforms, for example, Book Talk on TikTok. These trends can help us spot titles that are generating excitement among our readers, including our younger audiences. By using all these tools together, the selectors and I can make informed decisions so we can build a collection that our community is excited to use. Oh my gosh, sorry, that's the iPad. Okay, now we got it, okay. There's a couple other factors that we take into account as well. First is our holds ratio, which you can see on my left, your right there. This holds ratio chart helps us determine how many copies of a title we should own based on customer demand. So for books, as you can see, we have a 3-to-1 holds ratio. That means we aim to have 1 copy available for every 3 holds placed by our customers. If the number of holds grows beyond that ratio, we need to purchase additional copies. So for example, if a title has 3 holds, we should have 1 copy in our collection. However, if that bumps up to 4 holds, we need to order another copy in order to meet customer demand. So this system helps us balance demand and spending so we can ensure popular titles are available while still being responsible with our budget. We also review 2 reports that help us manage items that have been marked missing from our collection. The first is the Missing with Holds report. This identifies items that have been marked missing and have active customer holds. So every week, the selectors and I review these titles and we decide whether we should order a replacement copy or if we should request the item from another library via LinkedIn. The next report is the Missing Without Holds report, which is exactly what it sounds. This lists items that have been marked missing but do not have any customer holds on them. But we still review these titles to decide whether or not they should be replaced. An example from just last week, the Missing Without Holds report, the title, I Feel Bad About My Neck by Nora Ephron was marked missing. It didn't have any holds, but it's a well-known and frequently requested title, so I chose to order a replacement so that it would remain available in our collection for our customers.
How do you find out it's missing if no one requests it?
So it's a report that actually Rich and further has helped us automate, and it just how.
There's an item status when somebody finds, if somebody asks info or kids for a title and they can't find it, they change the status to missing.
Right,
And then we run that report based on that status.
right.
And then there's no holds on it, and that's through a report that Rich helped us automate. It'll tell us, yes, there's a hold, it goes to this report, no, there's no holds, it goes to this report.
And before we're reviewing those reports, it's getting shelf checked by multiple people.
So
So we're not just automatically ordering new things, we do have material handlers as well as our ILL staff helps us with this as well. They're checking, you know, if it's a book and it says it's in the stacks, we're like, well, let's just make sure it's not in new, or maybe it got shelved in Kids World. And yeah, so there's a whole.
And so for ebooks and audio, if there's a couple different services that we get ebooks from, like Cloud Library or Hoopla. So there's 3 copies between those 2 services. Would that be part of the loan, the ratio? Yeah.
We do have a holds ratio for ebooks and e-audio. It's currently 4-to-1.
Right, so
It's,
I guess what I'm asking
Okay.
is that including those services or is it?
So
Like, both of them
Hoopla is
together?
a pay per use, so you
Right.
don't place holds on in there,
Oh,
it's
okay.
just you
have
want
it, they
to check
don't.
it out.
Right,
So we're looking at the cloud
yeah,
app, and there's some duplication, but not much, the best sellers are more on cloud.
Mhm.
So more of the holds are on cloud than usage in Hoopla.
does this include if I'm looking for a book and we don't have it here, but boy, it's easy to get by using the interlibrary loan at Gail Warden? You would still buy it because I want it here, or you know that I got it through the interlibrary loan product?
Are you talking about the holds ratio or the missing with holds?
I guess the holds ratio, like
You know, the holds ratio, the 3-to-1, those are the new and popular titles
Right.
that everybody wants, so there's
Right.
gonna be 50 holds, so we're gonna buy it.
yeah,
The missing with holds, we will look, does any library in Lincoln have it, and we'll get it from them. Even the missing
well, we wouldn't do it with without holds, but if it was available in a lot of libraries and there weren't holds and it wasn't an essential title, we would say, you know what, it's available through other sources, we're not gonna replace it.
And then we would put the hold on Lincoln for the customer so that they don't have to go in.
So that's
and
part
search
of, part of like the collection in a sense.
Yeah.
Which is a great use of resources, right? Because maybe we don't have a lot, the book here, but, you know, Rolling Meadows has 4 copies, so.
And there are times we'll even do it through OCLs, if it's a kind of obscure title that, who knows why we bought it, we no longer have it, but there's holds. One hold anyway, we would probably get it through OCLC if Lincoln didn't have it. In the title.
Yes, okay. Where was I? The odd status, right? Did I talk about odd status? No, we appreciate the questions. Okay, so the odd status report, this helps us identify items that have active customer holds, but they're not currently available to check out. So these are items with unusual statuses, like under review, billed, or claims returned. So very similar to the missing reports, the selectors and I get this report every week, and we evaluate each title and decide whether we should order a replacement copy or request the item again via Lincoln. So all these reports combined, they help us ensure that customers waiting for items are able to receive them as quickly as possible. And it also helps us identify missing titles that should still be in our collection here at Arlington Heights.
And then just some quick statistics, we add over 3,000 items on average each month, that includes magazines. And we get about 550 purchase suggestions, and that's both physical and e-content.
All right, now I'm going to talk about our deselection or our weeding process. So how do we decide what to withdraw from the library? Again, Collection HQ, which is the collection management tool we subscribe to. We have reports that we can run that help us ensure everything on our shelves is relevant, in good condition, and still being used for customers. We're very lucky to have material handlers who pull items for the selectors to look at, and then we decide what to keep and what to withdraw. Just because something is on a Collection HQ report, doesn't mean we automatically withdraw it. The selectors do go title by title to review. It might be a core title that maybe is not currently popular, but was a few years ago, and we anticipate it could be again. So one example, this book is still going out. To Kill a Mockingbird, for example, if that showed up on one of my cards from Collection HQ and it hadn't been checked out in 3 years, that's something I'm either gonna keep or I'm gonna look at the condition of it. Maybe people aren't checking it out because there's a huge coffee stain on the inside, and so then I would wanna order a new copy of that title. So one Collection HQ report is called the Collection Check Report, which identifies items that have not circulated in over 4 years. This can either indicate lack of use or that they're missing from our shelves. And it's a good way to clean up our catalog so that when people are looking for items, what's in the catalog we actually have on the shelf. The Dead Items Report highlights materials that have not circulated within a set time frame, and this time frame can vary by collection. For example, our fiction collection, we're looking at items that have not circulated in 3 years. While items from our Library of Things collection, we're looking at items that haven't circulated in 6 months. If you're familiar with our Library of Things collection, it's what, 2 bookshelves? 3? It's much smaller than our fiction collection.
100 items about.
Yeah, and it's very heavily used. So if something is not getting checked out, it might not have been the right fit for our community, and we want to review that. Another report we look at is the Grubby Report, and this flags items for us that have been circulated over 100 times and may be showing where. So the report helps us determine when to replace worn copies so that we can keep our collection in good condition. And speaking of condition, the selectors and I regularly receive damaged items every day to review. So for example, if a book has severe water damage or if it has multiple ripped pages, we're going to want to replace that with a new copy. Another thing we consider is timeliness. So for example, Lisa and I were pulling items for our Make Time to Make display. And so we were in the crafting section and I found a bunch of books about how to sell items on Etsy from 2009. So I pulled those out because, a lot has changed in the world since 2009, including, you know, the internet and Etsy. And so I wanted to look at those items to see, if I could replace that with titles from hopefully, you know, 2024, 2025, 2026. That might be more relevant and timely to our customers. And, for our statistics, over 3,000 items are withdrawn each month, in order to make room for all the new items we have coming in.
Question, yeah, so with the, when you take into account like checkouts, does that also include, like, when someone takes out a book and maybe like kind of browses through it and then puts it on the like reshelf cart, those get scanned in as well, right? So it's not, even though it's not checked out, it's like someone was interested enough to.
Oh, not anymore.
No.
I think we used to, but
Yeah.
we don't,
Okay.
yeah.
Any other questions?
So the 3,000 items that you remove,
Mhm.
are those all given to friends or are there different places?
It depends, because, you know, if we have a book.
Yes, everything in good condition goes to the friends, and damaged things do not.
Okay.
Fun fact, we get a lot of books returned with sand in them. Because they're taking books to the beach, which is great, and we get books with sand, we get water damaged, people might be taking a bath with the book. A lot of.
One time I got a slice of moldy cheese. And the cheese was you know, we're not gonna charge people.
A lot of interesting things that get returned, so those things just get recycled, but everything else goes to the friends.
Okay, so, before I go, any other questions? I mean, we're gonna talk about customer questions, so if you have any questions, go for it. So we often receive, questions from customers about the collection. When it comes to answering, these questions, something that we keep in mind is that everyone wants the best for our library and our community. And questions about the collection are welcomed and encouraged because they help us better understand the interests and needs of our customers. Our goal is to make sure everybody feels heard while also maintaining a collection that serves the broad and varied interests of our community. So you'll see some examples of questions we get. Why don't you have this title? Why do you have this title? Of course, our suggestions for purchase that we review every day, and as well as general questions about the collection. So one example of a customer question, that's a popular one to ask is about books in a series. You know, there are some series that have 60 books in them, and in a dream world, we would have every single book in every single series on our shelves. However, you know, we can't keep them all due to space. Sometimes a title will come back to us damaged and we can't reorder it because it's out of print. But the beautiful thing is that we're part of Lincoln and we have our interlibrary loan staff, and most of the time we can get that title for our customer, even if we don't have it on our shelves. And speaking of questions, does anyone have any other questions?
Do you have a percentage of your budget that you save for new titles or new I'm just,
No, we
like, I would feel like going through all this, you probably wanna buy more than you have a budget for, right? Like everything, like everyone wants to read more than they have time for. So if you get into that situation, do you save, I mean, you know that you're gonna get a lot of copies of One Village, even though we don't know what it is right now.
Right.
Like,
I have a budget line for the OBOB title, so we
Right.
know, okay, we can spend
Yeah,
this much
for
on
that
OBOB.
but what about other new, like, is there a certain month that more books are published that you know that they're coming out?
Well, so like December, nobody wants to publish a book in December because likely everyone's already bought all their, you know, holiday gifts. So that's kind of a slower month. I'd say the fall, like September, because people want their books to win awards. So like the fall is a popular time. And then summer, you know, like all the beach reads, like May,
Yeah.
June is a fun time in book publishing. So yeah, and in terms of budget, I mean, we just try to.
Collectors keep an eye on the budget, so they
Yeah.
know roughly where they're supposed to be, and
Right.
you know, on average, where we should be, as Mike says, 17% of the year, so we kind of keep an eye. But we don't have a separate book budget for the new versus the stacks. Most of the collection goes into new, and then we buy the replacements or like travel books or things that don't go into new,
Right.
but they all come out of the same line. it's part of their expertise. They really have a good idea for what they can buy and what, maybe we'll sit on this one. We also still do the, customer driven acquisitions. So there are titles that if you're on the fence, we have a record in the catalog that says, I forget what, we haven't purchased it yet, placeholder trigger.
So you know somebody requested it and.
Yeah, so if we're on the fence of something, we can just put it as a CTA, as we call it, customer driven acquisition, the title stays in the catalog. And then if after a certain time period, nobody wants it, we take it out of the catalog. If somebody triggers a hold, then we go ahead and buy it.
And are you finding yourself spending less money and or buying fewer, like, CDs, DVD? I mean, I feel like new cars don't even have CD players in them.
So one thing, you know, looking at our hold ratio chart, like that's something I would like to one day update because.
It's 2 to 1 right now for audiobooks, and we're not getting the hold on audiobooks. We're only buying the popular titles right now.
Right.
It's just not growing. Music CDs, Natalie buys the bigger titles, but not at the level that we did, and certainly DVDs.
Right.
You know, we always say our circs are down, but it's those formats. Like the book circ is where it was, but it's the DVDs, it's all of the AV format that we lost the circ.
Right.
That we're thinking that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. This was really important.
Thank you for having us.
Now we'll all know about being a purchaser for a library. That's fun. All right, thank you. I'm going to reorder this so that we will talk about approval of the network of equipment purchase. So that Rich doesn't have to stay for the whole meeting.
Okay, so I would like to invite Rich to join us if you would like to. This is a project that we had planned for this year. This is a network infrastructure modernization project. And will replace a lot of our switching equipment and firewalls. And really bringing us up to date on a lot of these things. So the networking equipment is approximately 16 years old. It is well beyond its reasonable and useful life. And Rich has been working on configuring a good setup for us and working on the E-rate to get us really good pricing. So we had $56,465 budgeted for this project. The total project quote as of right now is right around $49,000, just a little bit over that. We're estimating a 40% E-rate discount, which brings our total cost to $29,478.58. So my suggested motion for this is for the full amount, only because I don't have a specific number until we place the order and that E-rate comes through to know exactly what that's gonna be. So Rich, do you want to speak to this project or?
Sure. So there's a few things to add that Mike didn't cover. A lot of this will bring into line our networking equipment with the updated network speeds that we're now getting from our 2 different internet service providers. All of our equipment, or I shouldn't say all of it, but probably 90% plus of our equipment will only handle 1 gigabit speeds. And we're now getting 2.5 plus speeds from our vendors. So we're basically not able to utilize the high ends of those speeds when we're, under heavy network congestion. So with this project, we'll be able to utilize the full amount of that, which is also funded by E-rates. So we're getting 40% discounts on all of our internet service lines now. So we're actually getting more for less there as well. Additionally, we're getting upgraded firewalls, so that's going to allow us to have 2 of the same firewalls, and we're going to have failover internet, which we have not been able to do as long as I work here. So if our staff internet goes down, like our phone lines will go down, our website will go down, and we're not able to come back up. With this, we'll be able to stay online as long as either Astound or Comcast is online. We can stay online with all of our services. So that's another big.
So even if one is out and the other's online, we can still be online.
Correct.
Nice.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't have a true failover. We only fail over, like if the Comcast line goes down, we can fail it over to the Astound line, but it doesn't go both ways.
Okay.
So that's one of the other benefits that we'll be able to have with this. And the other thing I was gonna mention is the reason why we don't have a specific amount for the E-rate funding is because there's certain products like the firewall, they don't give you the full 40% of them, because of a portion of that firewall actually covers the SIPA compliance that you need to be E-rate eligible, but they don't actually pay for being SIPA compliant, which I think makes no sense, but that's just how the program works. So yeah, you may end up getting only 25 or 30% on certain line items of the bid, but like I said, until we actually place the order and they decide what they're going to give us, I don't have an exact amount, so that's kind of where we're at.
But it will be under what we budgeted.
Oh, yeah, for
Which
sure.
is great,
Yep,
and that'll show up on our capital
Yep.
budget. And for anyone that might be watching or reading later, can you remind us all what E-rate, the E-rate discount? Like, who does that money come from, or,
It's a federal,
right, so,
federally funded program, for schools and libraries, and it pays for network infrastructure. Used to pay for phone lines, but doesn't anymore, and it also covers internet service connections.
is there any indication that that funding would be cut?
It was on the fence for a while.
Yeah, I was gonna say
but they
there was
got
some
it
discussion,
through.
yeah,
Okay,
but yeah,
okay, good.
it's good now.
All right. Well, very good, thank you. Oh, I have just a question. When is the network busiest? Is there a time or a date or a day of the week, or is it
No,
pretty?
it's kind of sporadic. A lot of it really depends on programming and stuff, and
Yeah.
I mean, usually when the Wi-Fi is buzzing is usually when we're experiencing the most, just with people streaming or using, connection for whatever they're using it for.
Yeah,
So I mean, pretty much anytime the library's packed, their networks.
Yeah.
Packed as well.
when the neighborhood's out of electricity and everyone
Yeah.
comes to the library, which happened last week. All right, very
Just have a
good.
quick question.
Yeah.
Prior, regarding the motion, just that, to confirm, I think you've covered this, but that the dollar amount for the motion is is not including the potential, E-rate, just in case, right?
Correct.
So that's where, again, we're falling under budget, as they can see, it's about 56,000, and then that's where we might get that 40%, and then the estimated cost is what we're hoping for, but we're gonna make a motion for the maximum, just in case, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, because either way, it's under budget
Yes,
and we want to move
yes.
forward with it. I just want to, you to see what the potential cost.
It's very clear, I just want to make sure that
Yep.
when making that, got that covered, okay.
Yeah, right on.
Right.
All right. Any other questions? I would like a motion.
I'll throw on a question then. I move that the Board of Library Trustees approve the purchase of networking equipment not to exceed $49,131.
Seconded.
All right, the motion was made by trustee Gala and seconded by trustee Watts. May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Burrow,
Yes.
trustee Gala.
Yes.
Trustee Kelly,
Aye.
trustee McLean.
Yes.
Trustee Meadow.
Yes.
Trustee Watts.
Yes.
President Smith.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to our next item of new business, approval to fly the pride flag in honor of Pride Month, June 2026.
Yeah, so this was a request submitted by trustee Watts to fly the pride flag. In your packet, it includes the supporting material. So that is up to the board and they want to proceed with that.
So this will be the third year, if this passes, correct?
I think it's longer than that. Yeah.
Okay, fourth year. Has there been any, I know that we fly the pride flag at the Maker Place and here. It is flown under the United States flag,
Correct. And the state.
under the state flag as well. Has there been a lot of feedback either way in the past year?
In the past, the last time we flew it, I don't recall any feedback. No,
Okay.
do you?
We didn't get any.
Inquiry of who decides the flag is wrong.
Right, okay, and just to reiterate, we have a policy that that says that a trustee has to bring a flag to the entire board, and the flag request must also indicate exactly what kind of flag it would be, and adhere to policy 7.007. And in that policy, we a trustee must indicate if, how this is flown in government buildings already. So different times we had someone brought up the suggestion of a Native American flag, but there wasn't like a flag. So, you know, I've also heard, why can't you fly a Christian flag? There's not a specific flag for, you know, different areas of inquiry. And again, the flag that, according to our policy, it must be flown in government buildings, either nationally or in the state of Illinois. And this flag meets that criteria. Does anyone have any questions or comments? All right, I would take a motion.
I move that the Board of Library Trustees approves the flying of the Pride flag in honor of Pride Month in June 2026 in accordance with policy 7.007, use of flags on library property.
Second.
All right, so the motion was made by trustee Kelly and seconded by trustee McLeany. May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Burrell?
Yes.
Trustee Gala?
Yes.
Trustee Kelly?
Aye.
Trustee McLeany?
Yes.
Trustee Meadow?
Yes.
Trustee Watts?
Yes.
President Smart?
Aye. All right, thank you. Thank you, trustee Watts. Anything else other?
I do have a few other things. As I mentioned in the check register, we are moving forward with the board software. So we've been working with them, getting trained up on that. Our next step is to get all of you, your user accounts and get some training for you. And so over the next week, you'll receive an email that will instruct you to create an account on the software. And then we'll also send you some video training. It's just kind of basic training on how to use the software to recover or to access the packet and stuff like that. So we are gonna roll this out with the new website in April. So we just want to make sure everybody has access and trained up before then. At this point, we're looking to no longer do the paper packets and go all digital, if that's okay with everybody.
Will that be here? Will it still have like these
You'll still have
laptops
all-
or should
yeah.
we bring, okay,
Yeah.
so but
Just
we
right
can
now,
access
we-
it ahead of time that way.
Yeah.
And then re-access it here on these machines.
Exactly,
Okay.
yes. We just won't print the packet and deliver anymore.
Okay.
Well, will it be on the website as the village packet is, which I believe they put their packet on the website 24 hours before their meeting?
We can do that. So with this new software, we can send it to all of you in advance of making it public, or we can publish it at the same time. I know there's been some discussion about that in the past of making it available, the entire packet available before the meetings. This would be an opportunity to do that with the new software, or at least know that we have the ability to do that. You know, it's fairly easy for us to publish
Yeah,
whenever. So if we wanted to make it available to you guys, you know, 3 or 4 days in advance, or the Friday before a Tuesday meeting, and then make it available to the public 24 hours before the meeting, I think that would be
yeah.
probably a good way.
I feel like if someone in the public has an issue or they want to see what's on our agenda, it's good to see all the documents. I mean, I think the school boards do it. I know the village does it. It just seems like that way they come, you know, if someone had a question, they would come with the actual information, which I think would be helpful.
But I would still like to get it ahead of
Yeah,
time, so a constituent wouldn't be like calling you out of the blue, and like, what, like, you didn't have a chance to, you know.
Yeah.
So the onus is on us to receive it at a certain point, and it's our
look at it.
responsibility to have reviewed it, knowing that then the public will get it at X time.
Right,
Yes, I agree.
yeah, maybe day of or something.
Right, I think that's good. The other thing that I was just gonna tell us is I asked Mike, I look at past board meetings and agendas at certain times, like when we're doing budgeting or like, oh, how did it go when we had the audit or whatever? So if we need previous May meetings, we can get that from staff. Like now I just go online and it's there, particularly if it was before I was on the board. But I guess I'm just saying that the other information is available to us if we need it or would
Yeah.
want to request it.
Yeah, we're not planning to carry over that full archive. I think we have like 10 years worth of
Right.
packets online. They get very few clicks, if any. Believe it or not, yeah, it's amazing. But of course, those will still be available to you or to the public. You know, all the public would have to do is just send us an email and request it. We'd be happy to share it. But still available. We just you know, we're trying to do as much cleanup on the website as possible at this point.
Sense. All right, good, thank
Okay,
you.
so that's one thing. Then wanted to give you an update on the bookmobile. So the bookmobile, Winnebago, has shipped the bookmobile to Tech Ops. So they are finished building out their part of it, and which includes putting in like the windows, doors, the generator, all the infrastructure parts. So now it's a moving, running, functioning chassis that is now going to Tech Ops to have the interior build out. So with that, they'll be putting in the shelving, they'll wrap it with the new logo and the new wrap that our communications and marketing team came up with, and working on all of that. As far as I know, the delay is still in place, so, while the bookmobile is currently in transit or was received, they were estimating it to be received either today or tomorrow. So as long as, it's made it there, they're gonna try and work on it sooner, but we're not counting on it for like the 4th of July. We'll probably end up with it in August. So, just a little update on that. And then an update on the first floor space assessment that we're working on. So we are working with David Vinjamari. He is from Third Way Space. He's been out twice now. He did some focus groups with our staff, has looked over the entire space, taken pictures, done a video walkthrough, has some good ideas that he's cooking up in his brain. And when he has this all put together, he's gonna come back and meet with the administrative team again, or maybe virtually, to go through kind of his audit of it and recommendations. So we looked at staff spaces on the main floor, flow of services on the main floor for the public, our service desks, our service model. There's been a lot of discussion, and so we're very pleased with the way it's going. So he's completed his 2 on-site visits, and now it's up to him to continue to work on the project and come back with recommendations.
And this is estimate for recommendations.
Mhm.
Like will his recommendations be like April timeframe, May timeframe? The only reason why I ask is the Friends of the Library was hoping for like a wish list of things that they can look through to see, identify opportunities for grants and like other ways to fund some of this stuff, which I think is a great use of community resources. So I'd love to see that partnership. But they were asking
Yeah.
about timelines.
I don't know that we'll have answers for them to be able to say, yes, we're gonna move forward with this. Most of what's gonna come out of this is gonna be architectural changes for next year.
Okay.
Or the following year, depending upon how big those changes are. So it might be moving walls, moving desks, combining desks, stuff like that. And I know Dana is working with them to come up with like a quarterly wish list.
Definitely helping to have things far enough in advance that they can do those applications. So
Yeah.
I know that was one of the things they mentioned the last.
Yeah.
Is he still partnering with Ingberg Anderson?
I don't recall that
He was
for the architect.
David Vinjamari, because I know he was, Joe Huberty from Ingberg Anderson. I thought they kind of teamed up.
He has worked with multiple architects, and
Yeah,
like he
and
said,
he
you know,
does.
the results of this will work closely with
Yeah.
our architect. But, yeah, I'm not sure if he's.
presenting, so if they're there, Carol.
We had him years ago, when he
I
was
think he
first,
mentioned you.
he had just written that article in, what did he write, Forbes? And he wrote this article about,
Merchandise.
basically merchandising, yeah, it was all on merchandising, yeah. And we had him shortly after that,
Very interesting guy.
yeah. Mhm.
So that's where we're at with that. Wanted to just kind of call out the volunteer recognition event. That's Tuesday, April 7th. It's a lunch event at Rolling Green. Just let us know if you'd like to attend. And then we have our 100th birthday party on April 19th. It is a Sunday from 1 to 4. So Sasha, do you want to talk a little bit about what to expect for that day of celebration?
We're gonna have everything that you would ever want at a birthday
Yeah.
party.
Oh.
Live music, cake pops, roaming magician jugglers, scavenger hunt. If you're familiar, I think we had Rebecca from Youth Services not too long ago introduce us all to Dewey. She come here with Dewey, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's a new puppet in town. So Dewey's getting a sibling, which will premiere at this event as well. And they're going to do quick story times in the Lindsay room so that the kids can get introduced and take a picture with our 2 characters. There has been a great internal team working on all aspects. The special event being one, but also, we will be launching a exhibit in honor of our centennial called A Century of Stories. And that will run on the first floor through, I believe, the end of August. Lots of fun stuff. Look for the April newsletter, which is coming out very, very, very soon with all the details.
Wonderful.
How many are you expecting? Like, how do you even gauge that? I just don't know.
I forgot to mention that actually really, really, really important thing. There's a lot of fun aspects, but we're also doing a time capsule, something really, 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 really cool. So we're really excited about that. So I don't know, we're estimating maybe 300 to 500 people, but once they find out that a time capsule is happening, maybe more. I should mention with the time capsule, I believe later this week, early next week, we are launching a survey online. There's going to be a portion of community input, this or that of popular materials and other sorts of items for the community to choose. And then we as staff will choose to put in the time capsule, board minutes, library cards, you know, a snapshot of 2026. So
Bookmarks.
bookmarks, yeah, bookmarks will be in there, yes. So a lot of really, really fun, exciting stuff happening.
I wonder, you should, I mean, just for kicks, look at the like sports schedules, like when does HYBA baseball or soccer, all that stuff. That might help you know, like, when people are gonna come. Cause I have a feel, it's a good time, like, after spring break, you know, we have, the weather could be fabulous, awful, all of the above in the same day.
We are also working with the village on having a proclamation presented
Oh, nice.
in honor of our centennial, but also crowning April 19th Library Appreciation Day. I believe it's in the exhibit, but once upon a time, there was a day in our honor called Library Day. So it's in a way kind of doing a little homage to that past. So that's another exciting, a lot of exciting things.
Great.
In 3 hours. That should be.
How long do you expect the time capsule to be dormant?
50 years.
Okay.
When
we take it open.
Was there ever a time capsule at the Maker place, you know, that being like an original building?
Oh, I don't think so. I mean, we didn't do one.
No, I wonder if there was one in there.
Put one in when they built it.
That's a good question. We didn't find one.
Yeah. Tell you.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
And the pool house, when they did all that.
When was that building? built?
1952.
Oh, 52, okay.
So where was it before then?
It was in a municipal building
Okay,
downtown.
all right.
That's all the other I have.
All right, the only other thing I wanted to remind us all to do is, I believe we all got something from the state of Illinois where we have to fill out any financial
Cook County got from.
Cook County.
It's a county, yeah.
Okay, yes, statement of economic interest, to make sure we send those in.
And then.
By May 1st, or there's a fine.
Oh, yeah.
Janet will keep emailing us
Yeah.
if we don't turn it in on time. All right, and just a reminder, ALA is in Chicago this June, so if you haven't been, it's really worth it. At least just come for, you know, Saturday or Sunday. Librarians work hard.
Do let staff know, because the exhibits are like over $100, but you can get $40 through Rails. I'm sure you saw that, yeah, $40 through Rails. So if you're gonna go, let them know so they can.
Yeah, just email
get
Janet, she'll get
Cause
you.
otherwise, I think it's like it's a ridiculous, $150,
Yeah.
$125 just
Yeah.
to see the exhibits.
Yeah,
When is it again in June? Or what part of the month?
It's the
I think
end,
like
very
August.
end.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
very end. That last week, usually like Friday through Monday.
yeah. And are you, is this a voting place tomorrow?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
Megan will be here bright and early.
All right. Very good. All right. I would like a motion to adjourn the meeting. Second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
So nice to be in.